Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode where we help bridge the gap on financial literacy and we touch on modern points on being a mortgage agent. And of course, tequila, welcome to On the Couch. I'm one of your hosts, Johnny Supa, and we have Danny.
Hello, hello.
We got a special guest today, guys.
Yes, we do.
Hey guys, how are you?
We got Dominic from Con-nois-seur.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Shitty day
Thanks for
outside,
having me.
But
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. So what's Con-nois-seur?
So Con-nois-seur is a wine agency. It's been part of our family for about 15 years. My father is very passionate about his tequila and wine from California and Italy specifically. His partner in the business, Ralph, is a good friend of his and has been a mentor for me, a great mentor. And, you know, this company's growing, so they decided to bring extra hands on board like myself. And, yeah, we deal with restaurants, private buyers, and we try to expand the palette of wine drinkers and people that are very passionate and have the same views as we do.
And what's unique about your boutique?
Well, one thing about our boutique shop is we try to offer a different variety of wines that, you know, we enjoy drinking and we think other people can enjoy drinking. And wine is, you know, experimental in a way where there's a different wine for every occasion. So there's really not one bad wine. It just depends on your company and who you're with and who you really want to enjoy a nice bottle with, right?
Absolutely.
so you must have walked into like a lot of, you know, home sellers, I guess, or collections.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
are like mind blowing. Like, I know some of my friends are like huge into wine. It's like you walk into their cellar, it's like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone last week who said he purchased over 1,000 different wines for his cellar and just expanded over the last 5 years. And, you know, helping out with delivery routes as well when extra hands are needed. You get to meet some awesome people that just talk about the wines they love and their cellars that are just really phenomenal and very unique.
How about for someone like myself who doesn't have a big wine cellar, but I do like to have some bottles of wine? Do I got to buy a whole case like most other places, or can I buy the bottle individually?
No, we try to. Well, the company started with close friends and family, right? So we're like, let's offer people where they could buy a nice bottle that they can enjoy for phenomenal price, great quality, and they could buy just one bottle if they like. And so we really cater towards that. And we have a studio down by Blue Earth and Lansdowne, so we like offering private tastings to whoever really wants to come in and, you know, enjoy some time with us. And
Oh, sweet.
we love great company, so.
So I
That's
gotta
awesome.
throw my name in the hat here. I don't think there's enough energy as to who he really is here. So basically, you taste, for example, tequila for a living.
Correct.
So
Which
here
is
on
why
this
he's here
show-
today.
Here on this show, we taste tequila for a living.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the show. At the end, I want to know if we're doing it wrong. But before we get there, and I know that we have questions, is there a right or wrong way to sip and drink tequila?
Well, basically, to get you started on that, there's different classes of tequila, right? It starts off at your silver and your gold level, right? Which, if most people are familiar with that, those are your, you know, you go to an all-inclusive resort and you put the salt on your
talk
hand
about
and
this all the time,
the
man.
lime, and I'm sure everybody has some good and bad memories with that, right? And then you sort of enter to this next level of tequila, which, you know, not everybody's really educated on, but knows the name of. You have your añejo level, right? Interesting enough, you have a cristalino, which is similar to, you know, your añejo and your extra añejo in terms, but the color's different. It's a white bottle, right? So it looks like your silver tequila. And then you have your extra añejo, and anything above añejo pretty much means it's a sipping tequila, and, you know, it's meant to be enjoyed rather than shot down. And, right, it's just like wine. You sip on good wine, and this tequila is meant to be enjoyed rather than just, you know, take it for granted. And, right?
1, 2, 3, hit the floor.
Yeah,
What is it?
exactly,
One tequila, two
exactly.
tequila?
One-
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you drink enough, you'll get to that point, but
I prefer sipping my tequila,
Yeah,
or any alcohol for that matter.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where tequila became more popular here in Canada, is because it actually started to get introduced as a sipping, opposed to being mixed.
Yeah, you're offering. It wasn't like, for me, when I have guests over, I'm not really pouring out shots of tequila or any alcohol for that matter. It's more of like, here's a nice alcohol, let's enjoy it together. And I don't know, like, is there a specific glass? Like, we're new. I'm new to this, I guess you can say. So is there like a
I mean,
specific
we've only been doing this for what, 26 episodes?
26 episode we're new?
But you guys are doing a great job. So
Yeah, we're getting there.
watched a couple episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk tequila. I mean, and then we'll get into the mortgage stuff, but maybe let's talk tequila for a quick second. So I like darker alcohol, and I like my alcohol neat. Is tequila something that you put on a chill? Do you drink it chilled? Is it something that should be room temperature, or is every tequila different?
I really feel like there's no real right answer to that. It just depends how you like to enjoy it, right? I mean, for myself, I like even like a king cube of ice just to water it down a little bit. But yeah, there's really no right answer to that. It's really just how you really like to enjoy it.
Okay, so I'm not doing anything wrong then.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I'm with them with the cube of ice.
I can't.
sure.
I can't do it.
And yeah, doesn't it water it down?
It waters it down a little bit, right? That's why. But you know what? It's like I said, preference, how you like to enjoy it, right? It doesn't really water it down too much. Just adds a little bit of coldness to it, and
It
yeah.
doesn't reduce the alcohol, does it?
That's a good question. I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I would think so.
I would
Like,
think it does a little bit, yeah.
Like I remember when Scotch was the thing, and you go get your Scotch and you put like a little bit of filtered water, tap water, whatever it is, spring water inside your Scotch.
Yeah.
It would soften the taste, and that was the thing to do. With tequila, there's no thing to do. Like the whole lemon and salt thing, or lime and salt, that's just what we did at the bars back in the day.
Back in the day, because that was the only way of taking it down
Yeah, well, I mean,
and making it easy. Because like you were drinking these low end tequilas that really hit the back of your throat
Yeah,
real
for sure.
quick.
I think it
So-
comes from like an educational level too, like, right? Maybe, when I go into a lot of bars and I'm introducing our portfolio or our tequilas to them, right? You see that the main line, or not really bar rail, but you could say premium bar rail, is starting to be filled up with tequilas, right? And maybe, it used to be, a lot of people always tell me it used to be a lot of Scotch, right? Or even vodka, which is still huge, and you see vodka everywhere, right? But
Yeah.
I know that Scotch and like your whiskeys, right? Your bourbons, they're just, those are what we're filling up the shelves, really, right?
Not anymore.
No, it's changed.
Yeah, it's tequila everywhere.
100%, yeah.
Why? Does anybody know why? Is it because celebrities are driving it in the background, where they're now putting their face to the labels? Is that really what's pushing tequila?
I think celebrities have a play in it for sure, right? And that's why you start to see that certified real tequila only comes from specific regions now, right? There's actually 5 main regions in Mexico that are producing certified real tequila, Jalisco being the main region, while you have celebrities. Well, now there's, I believe, three other states that are allowed to make tequila, but they're not allowed to put that certified real tequila stamp on it, right? But they're allowed to use the agave.
Okay.
And in Mexico, they were pretty strict about that, right? They didn't want to have agave being used for tequila anywhere else other than Mexico, right?
I was reading about this maybe a couple of weeks ago on how a lot of these tequilas aren't certified tequilas.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's interesting.
How do you know if they're not certified?
They have a stamp on it. So it'll have CRA, and then they also have,
Yeah,
That's okay. Let's
Yeah, so you're gonna find a lot of bottles don't have this stamp on it
yeah,
here in
and
Canada.
then
so
they also have like a unique
So this
NOM
is-
number.
This is a no.
Unless you see NOM and then a number or CRA, then yeah, it's most likely not a certified real tequila.
When you say not certified real tequila, what is it?
Well, they're probably adding some additives, right? That are
Right.
that are making it
Yeah.
taste more like a tequila. I mean, the lower level ones don't really need the stamp of approval because people could pick them up anywhere and are just gonna, like we said and we discussed, to shoot them down and whatever, right?
You're gonna make me hate all these bottles and go back. I'm gonna read. Everything needs to get re-evaluated now.
So the one that you brought, is that a real tequila?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So we've been drinking fake tequila.
not all of them. I'm sure there's a lot of real tequilas.
We could probably
in
go
there.
through them and
I actually
So for what's-
made a list of a couple of them. I was like, wow, this one's on the list of not a real tequila. I was very surprised.
What was
I
that?
don't have that list in front of me. I didn't come prepared for that, but I made that list like, oh, this would be a good thing to talk about on our show one day.
I
but
did not know that.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's
Well, we were going fucking on the bottom of the shelf.
So when you looked at your list, did you recognize a lot of ours that
There were some bottles that we've talked about that were on that list that are not tequilas, and there were bottles that we talked about that were on the list that are tequilas.
Oh, I'm curious to go through that list now.
I'm not saying they're not tequilas.
no,
but they're
no, they
not
have agave
certified.
in it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
But they're doing something that doesn't really make it certified enough to be a real tequila, coming from the main regions that are producing those certified real tequilas, right? So
Okay, so we keep hearing the word agave. What about reposado? What is that?
So agave is actually the plant that's used to make tequila.
Okay.
So, like I said, you have the 5 main regions, but you also have other regions that are in Mexico that are able to harvest this agave plant, right? There's different types of agave plants, some more premium than others. But yeah, to answer your question, reposado is just sort of the amount of time they use to age the tequila.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that represents.
So reposado can never really go, I believe, I may be wrong, it's no longer than 11 to 12 months. Can't be aged longer than that time in the barrel. But the agave could be aged longer. So we'll get into that later with our bottle.
I've seen some that have gone to a couple years for sure.
So it wouldn't be classified as a reposado then, or at least
Okay.
a real reposado, right?
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
This is some good stuff. Listen, guys, that's a tequila connoisseur.
Getting there, yeah. Learning, I'm, hopefully everything I'm saying is correct from my knowledge and my experience so far in the industry. Like,
wait.
I've realized that
Wait till our next episode where we're going to be this is not real.
you guys are going to be better than me.
This is not a certified bottle. Can't believe we have this on the show today, but
Sorry to anybody that brings a bottle of tequila after. Hopefully now I may have made your job a little bit harder, but
No, actually, you've made it much more insightful. This is good.
In the
Because
LCBO, how many bottles do you think are certified?
the LCBO does have some nice ones, right? It all depends. That's a good question because I've never really gone through the LCBO and taken a look.
What
And
about Jose Cuervo?
no, Jose Cuervo is your entry level tequila for sure.
thank you.
It's classified
so yes,
No, it'd be classified as a tequila, just not probably. They probably have some labels that they've had certified, right? Because there's different levels of Jose Cuervo, right? So I haven't gone through and taken a look. I don't want to put down a product because that's not my job. I honestly, every tequila is amazing. It's just you just gotta.
Some are just shit.
You have your preferences, and right.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I definitely agree. Like even with whiskeys and any alcohol or even beer, it's perfect. It's preference to who likes that specific taste. But we are very harsh when it comes to grading our tequila on the show. Very harsh.
I
All
feel
right.
like I really need to find that.
Well, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk about why we have this podcast. So financial literacy coming from you're in your early 20s?
yes, 24.
So 24, early 20s, so mid 20s. The financial gap on what's provided out in the industry and what Danny are doing here with our show is we want to help bring education to the forefront. Talk about what's that saying? Talk about the elephant in the room, I guess. It's how can I afford a home? How can I be a first-time home buyer? I'm just going to read some of the notes you said here, but being a young person who is looking to buy a house, like what are some of the things that you want to know?
Yeah, I feel like that's some stuff that you guys could touch upon and help me out with, right? I mean, I have a lot of friends. We talk about this stuff all the time, how, personal knowledge, it looks like it's definitely a little bit harder in our time and age to be a first-time home buyer, right? And
I feel like that is not necessarily true. Although it seems that way, I feel like when I was growing up, it was hard too.
Yeah.
It's always hard. Everybody still look to their parents.
Yep.
Even they say, a lot of parents right now are gifting their children a lot of money for down payments to purchase a home. But that was still happening back in the day too. So
It was. It wasn't like it's not uncommon. It's always been there.
But yes, it is difficult to purchase.
Advice?
advice for me and my buddies.
Yeah, advice. Okay, so some of the questions were like understanding the basics, like what is a mortgage and how does it work? So let's talk about what a mortgage is. And that's a great question because, everybody knows what they think they know what a mortgage is. A mortgage is a debt that is tied to an asset. And the asset happens to be a home, and the banks will leverage the value of the property based on an appraised value, and they'll give you what they call a loan to value, or they'll give you money based on how much you have as a down payment. Typically in Ontario right now, the government of Canada will allow a first-time home buyer. Well, anybody buying a principal residence. Let's just start with that.
Yep.
But for first-time home buyers, they'll allow you to have incentives like RRSP contribution up to $60,000. They have specific saving plans, saving account plans. You could have a tax break on your land transfer taxes. Those are accounted for first-time home buyers. But the actual, what is a mortgage? Is a mortgage is the debt on the asset. And the government, the banks will give you the difference of what you didn't put down as a deposit. So if the value of the house is $500,000 and you're putting down, let's say 5%, which is the bare minimum that is required, you're going to put $25,000. The bank will lend you the $475,000 with an insurance premium on top of that. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah,
Is that
100%. The premium is 4% added onto
the mortgage amount? So typically you're almost at 100% finance when you're putting down 5% on a home. But the insurance premium is there. It's backed by there's certain companies like Sagan, Canada Guarantee, and they're backing the bank, or they're backing you to say to the bank, if you go into default, there's an insurance premium to protect the bank and their investment on the property.
No.
Okay. What are the different types of mortgages available? Well, different types are there's fixed, there's variable, and there's adjustable. Yeah, so the gist of it is, depending on your lifestyle, you need to discuss with the broker or the agent, whoever it might be, on what your plans are with the property, what your plans are in the 5 to 10 years coming, and what product best suits you. If you're a risk taker and you can have fluctuation, a variable rate might be best for you. If you're somebody who likes steady and consistency, maybe a fixed rate product would be the ideal product for you. But in a grand scheme of things, a mortgage is a debt against the asset, to answer the question. And then that is paid off over 25, 30 years. And then hopefully with the right advice, you can get that gone in 17, 18 years, typically.
So it takes some time, for sure.
Yeah, some people take lifelongs. And there's nothing wrong with having a mortgage. I think, if it's used correctly, mortgages can help build wealth, build net worth, build a portfolio, for sure.
I mean, the government just came up with some new regulations in the last month or so, 2 months, Johnny. And they've now increased your RSP's contribution from 35 to 60. Am I correct on this?
Mm-hmm.
Also increased the amortization to 35 years.
Correct? Yep.
When is this actually starting?
30 years. They're not 30, not
Oh,
35.
sorry, 25 to 30
But
years.
it's
Sorry.
also for pre-construction only.
It's all, yes.
It's
it
only
is for
pre-construction.
It's only for pre-construction homes.
Listen, I have to say this. The government programs suck. Okay? They don't fucking help anybody. They're just there for glitz and glamour, and it's just sprinkle dust. It doesn't fucking work.
I'm sure that some of my friends watching will be nodding their heads when they.
Yeah,
when they
it
listen to
doesn't.
some-
It doesn't work. If you want the true facts, put your head down, and I'm gonna tell you what my nonna told me. Go to work, go to school, whatever it is you're doing. Go to work, go home, dunk your cookies and milk. Wake up, go to work, go home, dunk your cookies and milk, and do that. I mean, back then it was like 5-6 months. Save your money. I'm gonna say now it's probably 1 to 2 year task. You got to really buckle down, put the money aside. Never mind doing the Fridays and Saturdays with your boys. I know that you're in the entertainment business, so I guess I understand that part. Like you wrote here, like being a young person entering the adult world. I feel like taking advice from you guys could be engaging and a way to start. What does somebody like you do in the 20s to help be different and step aside from being in the crowd? You just finished your school at University of Guelph. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a big deal. And like, what is it that you can do, and how can you grow? You got to put your head down.
So the way I explain this to first-time home buyers is, first we'll build your application. I'll build you a budget, and in that budget we'll pretty much come up with like, this is what your monthly expenses are going to look like if you purchase a property at what we think you want or could afford. Let's say we call the number $3,000. If you can put $3,000 away today and still be comfortable, then I think you're good to go and make the purchase. If you're not able to save $3,000 and you're having a hard time doing that, well, when you purchase that home, you're going to have a hard time carrying that home. Never mind the mortgage and everything else, but you're going to have a hard time carrying that home because you're still going to want to live a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And if you can't live that lifestyle, then it's not going to be easy for you.
A lot of the times too is we have, first-time home buyers will come in, like they want to buy a property and their mom or dad will come on as a co-applicant. Yes, it helps, but if you don't build the right budget, that could also hurt you. Because we're giving you the buying power to say, hey, I can go buy this $800,000 home. But if your mom or dad's not on the application, can you truly, really afford that property? And that's the question that has to be looked at, because if you can't have the affordability, if you can't pay the car insurance, that are things, like there's certain things that don't get calculated on your mortgage, on the gross debt service, like insurance and fuel. Like these things matter. Your entertainment. Like if you're not going to be able to be disciplined and be consistent in changing your lifestyle, being a homeowner is going to be very difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's,
I think Danny said it quite well. Like, the main thing is, are you comfortable putting money aside, right? And that's one thing I think a lot of people my age always worry about. Are you comfortable with where you're at and saving and all that, right? And it does take time, right?
it does. Saving the down payment takes time, but being consistent and disciplined over time. So if you can do it prior to and pretend like, hey, every month I've got this payment, can I put it aside?
Right.
And if you can do that, you'll be...
Yeah, if you can prepare now.
Yeah.
So even for someone who doesn't have a down payment today, we just talked about buying a property right now at $500,000. All you really need is $25,000 plus closing costs.
Yep.
Let's say 35 total. 35. If you can put $3,000 aside right now, you truly only need a year to get it done. In 1 year, you can have a good down payment to purchase a property.
You just got to buckle down and dunk your cookies in milk.
Exactly.
Now, what cookies are you talking about?
Yeah, I like chocolate chip.
I love chocolate chip.
Chip Ahoy or Oreo cookies.
You know what
It's-
I like putting my cookies in? Tequila.
No, you don't. Get the fuck out of here.
We're not going there yet. Not yet. But what other questions we got here? So
Well, he brought up a couple points. So, okay, understanding the basics of a mortgage. Market trends and timing. Is now a good time to buy a home considering current market conditions? How can I stay informed about changes in the real estate market? That's an easy answer. Just watch our podcast. And what are the potential risks of buying in a competitive market? So to answer the first, Danny, you want to answer this one? Is now a good time to buy a home considering the current market conditions?
I think right now is probably, or I think we just missed it. Maybe a couple months ago or a year ago was a very good time to buy a property. Yes, rates are up, but no one is battling you on the purchase of a property. If you go back to 2021, it's like everybody that wanted to buy a house battled so hard. They had to put in 15, 20 offers before eventually they're like, you know what? I don't care when my mortgage broker said I could only afford $1 million property. Well, I'm going to go 1.2, and then my mortgage broker can figure out how I'm going to purchase this property. And then we're going to blame him because we had to put them in a private.
Yeah, I get asked every day. What's my budget? $925. Can I go to $975? I just told you it's $925.
Right?
You
So
guys are
right
giving
now,
advice, right? And
Yeah,
people
it's
don't seem to
not
listen.
good enough. So
Yeah,
take
yeah.
the advice that's given to you.
right,
By experts,
right,
right? So
yeah.
it's
So
important.
right now you're able to buy a property lower value than you would a couple years ago. Everybody feels like the property is, or the market is going to go up in a year or two. You know, rates are going to drop, so the values of the houses are going to go up. Worst case scenario, you refinance. We have products that allow you to take the lower rate as long as you renew the term with no penalties. So there's options for you. So why people aren't purchasing now, to me, doesn't make any sense.
So answer the question, is now a good time?
Absolutely.
Awesome. It's good to know.
I definitely agree. I think now is definitely a good time to buy.
Plus, if you're patient, you can actually go out there and find.
You could hunt.
You can hunt for a great deal.
How long do you think this period will last for?
Oh boy.
So, I mean, if you asked us this in November, we would have said March.
Yeah.
But today we're in May and we're still in that same.
So it's just changing,
Yeah, I mean,
fluctuating, right?
Yeah, like this rate stuff is taking longer than I thought to start coming down. We all anticipated April. Now we're going to get into June, which is the next announcement. So these are things that I would pay attention to. When you ask here, like, what are some things that you could, how can I stay informed about the changes in the real estate market? Pay attention to what the Bank of Canada is doing. And I would follow like some financial institutions. Like I like CIBC and BMO and RBC. Like follow what their economists are saying, and then obviously pay attention to the podcast. But see what market trends are happening. If rates start going down, that's going to increase pricing. If rates stay the way they are, things will stay stagnant. But I definitely agree with what Danny's saying. Now is a good time to buy. That saying of, if you plant a tree today or 5 years ago was the best time. So buying property, buying real estate, I think is always good. You buy and hold and stick to
and
it.
at the end of the day, it's all about the balance remaining. So if you purchase low, your balance on the mortgage is always going to be a lot lower than if you purchase high
Yep.
and have a bigger balance. So
I agree. What are the potential risks of buying in a competitive market? So here's my thoughts on this. In a competitive market, I think people make quick and they make unrational decisions. And they get bought into the hype of, hey, I want what Jones has. And I think that's where we need to slow down if you want to speed up, which is one of our favorite sayings. Take your time. Make a list of things that you want that are absolutely mandatory. Don't make a decision based on just making the decision like, hey, I want to be a homeowner. Make the decision based on area. Do your research. Drive the neighborhood. These are things that I would do, especially in a competitive market where you're not doing like the hype. Like, don't do the hype.
Do your research.
Do your
Like you
research
said,
and slow
yeah.
down when you're buying, especially a property. Like you can't you go buy a car and if you didn't test drive it, you can most likely go back and trade it in. Maybe you might lose a buck or two, but a house, man, that's a big deal.
Different story.
You can't trade a house in. You can't move the house. You can't do anything with it. It's fixed. So some people say slow down in order to speed up, and I would definitely take that advice. So do it slow.
yeah, I like that.
So I don't know if you guys heard, but Canadian basketball player Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I believe he bought a home in Hamilton, and I think the owner before was a crypto scammer, and he had someone break into the house after Shea had locked into the house and bought it. This is something recently I was discussing with some people, and apparently he was able to back out of it somehow last minute. So what would you guys say about that? Like, do you know how he did that, or have you guys heard anything about this? Or
I have no idea.
I
That's
haven't heard
actually
anything.
news. I
Yeah.
didn't hear about that, but
interesting story. I thought I'd bring it up, right? Because you were just talking about how it's harder to back out of a house, right? And
yeah, I don't know how he did it. I'm sure he's got good lawyers and was able to back out of the deal. And maybe there was something that wasn't disclosed to him when he bought the property that could help maybe get him out. I'm not too sure exactly, but that sounds like something that could happen. I mean, if you bought a property and something wasn't disclosed on the sale, could you have the opportunity to back out? I think so.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah, I think with the right lawyers and the right money, you can do anything for sure. What do you got over there? Is it Dom or Dominic?
Dominic, Domenico, my
As long as I
dad,
don't
my dad
call-
when he's upset at me, calls me Dominic, so it just depends what
All
you
right.
want to call me. Yeah,
I'm not upset, Dom.
There we go. So,
What do we got? What do we have here? This is probably okay. I like the appearance of bottles. That bottle looks like a furniture fixture. Like that is one.
yeah, clay bottle, right? I mean, Reposado.
That's a nice
I
looking
know.
bottle.
Is it a Reposado?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
My
Listening
favorites.
To your podcast,
Can I see this? Does it have all the stamps that you're talking about?
Yeah, so on the bottom you'll find it. You gotta look at the stamps on the bottom. You'll see their NOM and their CRT as well. So it says
I see
certified
CRT
real
right
tequila, right?
Certified real. Oh, CRT. Yeah.
And then the NOM is, and the number is unique to the producer. So every producer that's producing real certified tequila has their own unique number.
Look at that.
I'm gonna be looking for all of them now.
Buddy.
Like, it's
It actually
game
also is kosher,
game
in
on.
case you guys care. I'll get into why it's kosher.
Get into it right now.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us,
so,
tell us about this bottle. What is it? Where does it come from? And then we want to know. Okay, so before we taste it, we discuss the bottle, where it comes from, and then we talk. And then we're going to rate the bottle from 0 to 10 based on appearance, price, and taste.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, I'll let
So
you.
we
I'll let you
got-
explain.
The name of the bottle is Adicciōn. Adicciōn means addiction in French.
Don't bring that around here.
The reason it's called Adicciōn and it's French is because the guy who actually got into this specific labeling is from France.
Okay.
He's from my belief, I don't know too much about him, but the background story a little bit is he's a leather purse maker in France. And just like us, he discovered one of our familiar tequila brands, which is called Cava de Oro. He decided to team up with Cava de Oro, which is a third generational family producing certified real tequila. They also produce this one. And he decided to team up and he was like, hey, I want to label my own unique tequila. Can you make me something that's a little bit more unique and different from your bottles?
Okay.
They said, yeah, well, we have a smaller plot of land that is making harvesting blue Weber agave, and it's harvested for about 8 years. So while this is a reposado and only aged for about 10 to 12 months, the Weber tequila or Weber agave that they're using is actually farmed and harvested for about 8 years.
Oh wow.
So that's what, when we try the bottle, you'll notice it's very sweet. You'll get some vanilla notes, light in color because reposados aren't aged that long. So, the longer they're aged in the barrel, they tend to get darker. And that's when you get into your extra añejos and your añejos, right? By the way, añejo means aged in Spanish. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Añejo means
aged.
aged.
Yeah.
I thought it was a leaf.
That's a good guess.
Hey man.
To be honest, I thought it was gold.
Okay.
That's but okay.
Two interesting guesses, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
way
it had to do-
off.
I thought it was the leaf or the plant.
Yeah, and
Okay. Añejo means
it
aged.
means aged, and anything above añejo is typically a sipping tequila. But this is also classified for a sipping tequila. So getting back into the conversation of the actual owner of the brand. So he's a leather purse maker in France, and he decided to make this tequila, brought it into them, and proposed, their technique of making certified real tequila is that they are using used French white oak barrels to age their tequila. So that is a little bit different from your, classic American oak barrel style, right? Or even your distilling and filtering in stainless steel, right? So yeah, they decided to use brand new French white oak that's never been used for aging wines. And he imports the barrels brand new to Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico, which is out of the 5 main regions producing certified real tequila, is actually the main region that is
Oh, wow.
popular and famous for known to be the best tequila in the world. So the barrels are imported there to Jalisco, Mexico, to the family and owners of Cava de Oro, and they are making this tequila for him. So it is a newer tequila to the market. It's lovely. You'll find it
Can you find
around the city. We're currently the only people importing it in Ontario, if not Canada, I believe. I know that there's another producer or another company that's importing their other brand, Cava de Oro, in Calgary. Other than them, there's, I believe, to my knowledge, not really anybody else. But yeah, so I mean,
What's
the cost of this bottle is a whopping $522.95. That's because of tequila becoming very popular, going up in price, and you see celebrities making their tequila brands, right, driving the prices through the roof. But
Is this
also,
the most expensive bottle on the show thus
Oh
far?
my god. Yeah.
By-
The
by-
most
on the
expensive
show?
was
Yes, this would be the most
380.
expensive one. Yeah.
380 was our most expensive.
380 was.
380.
Yeah, that was the Don Julio, right? Yeah.
Don Julio is lovely.
This comes in mezcal too.
They have a mezcal bottle that we're looking to import. Hopefully, we were going to get into discussion in the summer. The bottle looks the same, but it's sort of like a cream color.
And there's more than one size to this bottle as well.
It comes in a Magnum as well, and it comes in a big wooden case. This one comes in like a sort of like a cardboard box.
$522. It comes in 2 sizes.
Comes in 3.
Three
So I know you mentioned any other bigger sizes, but it does come in a smaller size as well. So being a leather purse maker, the owner in France, he actually sells some of the purses with a little Mickey style bottle.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and
How
I don't
much
know
is
what
that
he does. I've
Mickey
never
size
seen the
bottle?
purse, but he attaches it somehow to the purse when he sells it. So
Okay, I'm curious to know, who is the purse maker?
that's a good question. I always get asked that. Like I said, I know a lot about the tequila part. I don't know too much about him specifically. I've never actually met him.
I thought you were going to say like it's Christian Dior or
No,
something
but
like that.
going back to the tequila being kosher, he's Jewish background as well. So that's why he decided to make a kosher tequila. And yeah.
This
There you
is
go.
very interesting.
I've tried this a couple times.
Me too. I have had it.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
It is very nice.
So have I. Yeah, I've tasted that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was at a party. So the reason I got introduced to Dominic was through a friend of mine named Anthony. I was at Anthony's office one morning, 8 a.m., and he's like,
8 a.m. Great time.
yeah, he was like, hey, I see you're doing a podcast, and you guys are talking about tequila. You got to get introduced to Dom. They have this business. So again, a plug for Con-nois-seur. Thank you for being on the show. We're going to try this beautiful tequila. Thank you, Anthony, for the introduction. And
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
This is that awkward silent moment, everybody.
Oh my God.
Really
Yeah.
no harshness to it, right? Like,
Zero. Oh,
And it hangs around like in your
Yeah, yeah.
in your palate. It's
so
nice.
we actually like to recommend this in a really hot, warmed up glass, served like a cognac. So that's
Interesting.
our suggestion.
Interesting. There you go.
See, so I did. So remember, I was asking, or chilled, not chilled. So I've been reading online. A lot of people are doing this like. I personally have never liked the warm cognac glass.
I have, yeah.
You like it?
I used to do it a lot when I
but-
was more younger than now, but
I gotta say, you gotta try this one
In a warm
that
glass?
way, and
Okay.
you might have a different opinion. Maybe it'll be the same, right? I
Maybe
mean,
the person who did the warm glass for me back in the day just didn't know what they were doing, and it wasn't. I didn't enjoy it, but I would definitely give this a shot. Doing it that way for sure.
yeah.
all right. So we gotta do
What we do?
evaluation. So let's
Yes.
have our host give the first shot.
So we evaluate each bottle.
Okay.
We rate it from 0 to 10,
Yep.
based on appearance, price, and taste. And then you take all three 0 to 10s, and then we give it an average of 10 to 10s, or 9s out of 10s, or 8s out of 10.
So first one is the bottle appearance.
So I would say with the appearance, when we first started importing it, the clay and the design was the same, but whatever the material is that they're using wasn't as nice as it is now. So back then, I'd probably say, for me, I never had any problems with the bottle breaking. So I would give the appearance. It stands out. Even when it's on a back bar next to Clase Azul, it stands out really well. So I'd give the appearance a solid 9, I think.
So let's go with cost and then taste.
So cost, I gotta watch what I say here, right? Because I'm selling this as well. But no, I mean, it's definitely not an affordable tequila for your average tequila drinker, right? It's definitely something that an experienced tequila drinker would be willing to spend the money on, right?
Can I just add a little disclaimer? When you said it was $500 something, is that U.S. or Canadian?
Canadian, yeah.
Because we have some U.S. listeners, that's why.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean that's Canadian price.
Yes, you Americans. It's
All you
Canadian
Americans listening there, it gets more expensive.
And then of course so what are you giving it for price?
he's not. He's gonna leave that one.
I'm gonna leave that one out. But
gonna
but
leave
you
that
could tell off of my conversation that it is. I wouldn't rate it.
Oh,
too
don't worry.
high.
I'm going to eat that price up real
so
quick. Don't worry.
And A for you, but now we get to the taste.
The taste.
The taste, Blue Weber agave is one of the best agaves in the world, in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but just from my knowledge. So I would also be up there at 9 with the taste. I think it stands out compared to a lot of other tequilas. It doesn't burn your throat, right? If you try it warmed up, it's a very unique taste. It's just the smoothest thing ever, and you could just sip on it. It gets to a point where it's dangerous almost, right? Because you could drink, and not even realize how much you
100%.
drank.
So you're giving it an overall 9.
Well, I'd give it an overall 9. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
On this show, that's spectacular.
It is
All
spectacular.
right, Johnny, you're next.
No, wait. Leave me till the end.
Then-
So the bottle, I mean, I think it's beautiful. It does stand out. You can showcase it in your glass, I don't know, showcase of bottles for sure. 100% right in the middle. It's going to catch the eye. A good nine in appearance. Obviously, the price is going to bring it down. I think if this bottle was in the 300s and I judge the taste, I'm up at the 9, but I mean, unfortunately, it's in the 5 and change, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit to, let's say, a 7.5.
Okay,
And then taste. This is beautiful, man.
Are we giving it the first 10?
I won't give anything a 10, but I'll give it a 9.5.
There's always room for improvement, right?
So overall, it's a 9 for sure, 100%. This is, and so my favorite has always been 1942, and I think this is the next one up. So this one's probably on top of that one for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so appearance. This thing rocks. That bottle, like you guys have said, sits on the bar. It is something that everybody will ask, what is that? It's not something that's going to sit and get blended in. This bottle stands out. And I know you guys are going to say, what the fuck? But that bottle gets a 10 for me. It looks like a piece of furniture. It is well done, well designed.
Okay.
That is what an expensive bottle should look like.
I'm going to put a nice warn in the video for this because it's the first 10.
Yes. Well, wait, I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Price, $522. I think it's worth every damn penny for 2 reasons. One is because you can't buy it at the LCBO. If you want something exclusive, you got to pay for it.
That's a good reason.
Yep.
Right? And if it's something that's sought after, like, okay, I know the Jose Cuervo, $380, you can buy that at the LCBO. So that's
Don Julio.
the Don Julio, sorry.
I mean, for a good period of time, you actually couldn't get it at the LCBO.
I'm sure
it was a.
that'll end up there
You know what?
eventually.
Our philosophy going back to our company is we try to keep everything on our portfolio consignment out of LCBO hands, and we want really people to, like you said,
Yeah.
if you want it, you got to find it.
You got to find it. You got to pay. Yeah, exactly.
It's that exclusivity, right? People tend to gravitate towards exclusivity that like to spend an extra dollar.
I'm not
right?
one who, like, again, I'm not going to, I don't want to contradict myself, but if I have to take away what my personal opinions are and talk about this bottle being worth $500, I think the bottle's worth $500.
So what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 for that.
And
The taste?
the taste.
Oh, this is a 10.
Okay, so overall, it's
Overall, this is a 9.5 bottle, or 9.7.
Thank you.
Like this is as close to perfect as you're gonna get. Yes, the price is $500, but there's a reason for it. It's got the most exquisite bottle. It's not exclusive, right? Like, or it is exclusive.
It is
exclusive.
bottle,
Sorry.
yeah.
And like, I'm sorry, I'm done mine. I want some more.
Well, we got more.
The taste.
Good news.
The taste was amazing. I highly recommend it. Guys, check out Dominic at Con-nois-seur. Where are you guys located?
Our office is Bloor and Lansdowne,
Bloor and Lansdowne in Toronto.
Wade Avenue, 87 Wade Avenue.
And how can they find you?
I'm trying to remember where Wade Avenue is because like
You're from that neck of the woods.
I grew up down there.
Yeah,
So.
you can find our website, con-nois-seur.ca. You'll find all our wines on there, our private collection. We have some recommendations on there. Once you put stuff in your cart, it'll put you towards what you may like other than what you've put in your cart. So
That's smart.
yeah.
That's called an upsell and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it's a private studio, so anybody looking to have a fun event with some great company, like I said, wine, there's a different wine, different tequila to be enjoyed with.
How many people can you host?
So we do 8 to 12 people seated. Private chef comes in, caters towards what you guys want him to cook menu-wise.
Oh, wow.
And we could do 50 to 60 standing up, and we've done some fun events there with that. So we've had some winemakers
That's awesome,
in town.
actually.
That's
That's
cool.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Now, of course,
Where can Instagram, social media?
Our Instagram, that's Con-nois-seur Wine Imports.
So we'll make sure we tag that in the episode
Yeah.
and today to get people to like, share, and comment.
and then, where can they find us?
Where could they find us? So you can find us on Instagram at Your Nesta Financial. We also have the Instagram account On the Couch Podcast. Find us here at our brokerage at 12 Par Boulevard. Where else? So much like we have.
So-
Like, we got to bring a list now. It's like it used to be just your Nesta Financial, but now it's like
Just check below the podcast. We're at Your Nesta Financial on Instagram, On the Couch Podcast 23 on Instagram,
all your favorite.
YouTube, Spotify. Yes, guys, if you like the show, share the show so we can grow. That is our saying. So share the show so we can grow. Check out Dominic at Con-nois-seur on all their platforms. This was absolutely fantastic. I think it was this was a smooth episode, just like the tequila.
Thank you.
And we will see them next time.
Peace.